Hello, guys. Let's see the continuation of the topic breathing and exchange of gases. Coming to the exchange of gases, alveoli are the primary site for the exchange of gases. In the previous videos, we have seen that we have two types of system. One is conducting system and another one is exchange system or respiratory exchange system. Conducting system will start from nose to terminal bronchi, but the respiratory system will start from alveoli to the blood and tissues. From the alveoli to the blood and tissues, the exchange system will start. So let's see. The alveoli are the primary sites of exchange of gases. Means the oxygen will go into the body and the carbon dioxide will enter into the lungs through alveoli from bronchi to bronchus and to trachea, larynx, and finally it comes out through nostrils. So, exchange of gases also occur between blood and tissues. Yes, oxygen and carbon dioxide are exchanged in these sites by simple diffusion, mainly based on pressure concentration gradient, pressure and concentration gradient, the solubility of the gases, as well as the thickness of the membranes involved in diffusion are also some important factors that can affect the rate of diffusion. So if the gases are being soluble very faster, then it will go very faster. As well as the thickness of the membrane. If the thin membranes, the gases will diffuse very fastly. If the membranes are thick, it takes time to pass the gases because the membrane is very thick. So the pressure contributed by the individual gases in the mixture of gases is called partial pressure and is represented by PO2 for oxygen and PCO2 for carbon dioxide. Partial pressures of these two gases in the atmosphere of air and the two sites of diffusion are given in the table. So, and in the figure 17.3, we'll see the figure as well as the table. The data given in the table clearly indicates a concentration gradient for oxygen. So, we already seen how much is the concentration in the alveoli in oxygen to blood and from blood to tissues. Similarly, let's see the partial pressures in mm of Hg of oxygen and carbon dioxide at different parts involved in diffusion in comparison to those in atmosphere. Let's see. We have only two gases here. One is oxygen, other one is carbon dioxide. In the atmospheric air, it is 159. The pressure is 159. And for the carbon dioxide, 0.3. If it is for the alveoli, it is 104 inside the alveoli. If it is for the carbon dioxide, it is 40. So oxygen is more in the alveoli than the carbon dioxide. And blood oxygenated, 40 for oxygen and 45 blood deoxygenated, you will have more amount of carbon dioxide. So 45 for carbon dioxide and 40 for oxygen. When it is blood oxygenated, 95 for oxygen and 40 for carbon dioxide. So in the tissues, when you see in the tissues, you will have 40 partial pressure for oxygen and 45 for carbon dioxide. Inside the tissues, you always note down the carbon dioxide will be more because the tissues will be keep on using the oxygen and it will create the byproduct of carbon dioxide. And at the same time, same values for blood deoxygenated also, 40 and 45, the same. In deoxygenated also you will have more amount of oxygen when compared to in deoxygenated you will have more amount of carbon dioxide compared to oxygen. Tissues and blood deoxygenated having the same values. When it comes to oxygenated, it is 95 and for oxygen because oxygenated, and the carbon dioxide will be 40. And in the alveoli, it is 104 and 40. So let's see the exchange of gases here. Inspired air and expired air. So the PO2 in the atmosphere is 104 mm of Hg and PCO2 is 40 mm of Hg. This is in the alveolus. So when it comes to carbon dioxide is been moving from the venous blood to alveolus, and from the alveolus it will go from alveolus towards the oxygenated blood, the oxygen. So when you go down, you have the pulmonary artery here which carries the deoxygenated blood, and we have the pulmonary vein which carries the oxygenated blood. And we have the systemic veins, here the systemic arteries carrying the deoxygenated and oxygenated blood. If it is the systemic veins which is carrying the deoxygenated blood, you will have the PCO2 is 45, PO2 is 40. If it is in the systematic arteries, PO2 is 95 and PCO is 40. When you go here also, you will have more. So this is the diagrammatic representation of exchange of gases at alveoli and body tissues with the blood and transport of oxygen as well as the carbon dioxide. So a gradient is present for carbon dioxide in opposite direction. Always it is moved from the higher gradient to lower gradient, from tissues to blood and blood to alveoli. So let's complete this. Like here, if you see in the first alveolar air, the PO2 is more. So it is moving from alveolar air to pulmonary vein. Okay. And here the PCO2 is more in pulmonary artery. So now the CO2 is moving from this blood to alveolus. So and now the blood is passing. Inside the blood it will be 95 and 40. And from here the oxygen is being moving from 95 to 40. And the carbon dioxide is moving from 45 to 40. So from higher to lower, that is the values. Coming to the solubility. As the solubility of the CO2 is 20 to 25 times higher than the O2. So the amount of CO2 that can diffuse through the diffusion membrane per unit difference in the partial pressure is much higher when compared to that of oxygen. So the diffusion of membrane is made up of 3 layers, namely the thin squamous epithelium, means only one layer of alveoli, and the endothelium of alveolar capillaries, and next the basement membrane which is between them. Here you can see this is the alveolar cavity. Here we have the thin one-celled thick squamous epithelium, and we have the basement substance and endothelium of capillary of alveolar capillaries. So however, the total thickness is much less than a millimeter. Therefore, all the factors in our body are favorable for the diffusion of oxygen from alveoli to tissues, and that the carbon dioxide from tissues to alveoli. Alveoli to tissues and tissues to alveoli for carbon dioxide. So this is all. The 2 factors is pressure gradient as well as the solubility. For the carbon dioxide, the solubility is higher. So this is the picture. So this is the exchange of gases based on the 2 factors. One is solubility and other one is pressure gradient. Okay, my dear friends, that is all about exchange of gases. Let's see the transport of the gases in the next video. Thank you very much.